All right, so here we go. Yeah, it got dark out really fast, but I wanted to. Um, Oops, here we are. Sorry about that. Yeah, I wanted to go over this debate and see how much I can get on tape. All right, so here's the beginning of it. It's 8:30, but I have it taped. So let's see what we can do.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage, Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Hopefully you can hear this.
Kamala Harris. Second page. Thank you.
What did she say? She introduced herself. What did she say? Is it just, oh yeah, she is a Biden. Wait, let's go back. What does she do?
To you both, it's wonderful to have you. It's an honor.
Like, he knows who the fuck she is, but that's okay. P.S. I think Trump had said that the entire time, wasn't she a senator when he was president? Didn't they meet at all during that time? Am I missing something? Because she is behaving like they've never met before. Now, another thing I notice about this woman is she has a behind, man. She has a donkey booty and a neck. You know, she's crazy with this neck. Just watch this shit.
Kamala Harris. Second page. Thank you.
She said, Kamala Harris, second debate? Is that what she said? What did she say? Can anyone tell me? I know Trump. What did she say to him? Kamala Harris, second debate? Okay, so what? This is fucking weird. All right, let's do it. Okay.
Wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful debate.
Oh, fuck you. I'm sorry.
We'll begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe
Or is she
Americans are
ugly?
better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle class kid.
Okay.
I'm actually the only.
Where? In Canada. Your mother was a high-paid researcher for various universities. When you say raised as a middle-class kid, what does that mean exactly? Because you were born in 1964, and middle class then was not the same thing as middle class now. In addition, your father was a very wealthy Jamaican business person. Your grandfather, not great-great-grandfather, just your grandfather. Oh, okay, let's keep going. I mean, she makes it sound like she's me. You know, I was born a couple of years before, maybe 2.5 years before her. Don't try to play fucking games. And I was raised in the United States as a real citizen.
Person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build.
What is going on? Let's check her ear. What does she got going on the earrings? Okay, so does one earring look different than the other? Does she have an earpiece going like Hillary did? Hillary had earrings like that during one of the debates, didn't she? Do they look different? One earring is little beads. The other, what did she just forget that to match them? What kind of flag is that? You know, it's like, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
What I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing. And
An opportunity. Okay, An opportunity. I'm sorry, I'm still on crutches. An opportunity economy, as opposed to an economy where, an opportunity economy. What does that mean? Because right now, people can't afford to eat. I ration my food now, girl. I buy the best organic, but I have to ration it. I won't buy junk. I don't eat junk. The only sector of the market that's growing are jobs at Dunkin'.
Cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000.
Wait a minute. What was the question again? You've been there for 4 years. What? I don't even remember the question now myself, but should we go back? Fuck it. Let's go.
Which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young...
In a long time. What? But you've been there for 4 years. What? You act like as if this is just like you're a newbie coming on the scene and the people love you and have been wow, this is one ugly broad. And I don't know what's going on with that chin and that neck. And she'll go to a plastic surgeon once she sees herself. She looks like shit.
Families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car
A
seat,
crib?
clothes for their children.
Aren't there government programs for that? Buy a crib for their children? If they can't even find a house or a job, what the hell would they be worrying about buying a crib for?
My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner.
Was she your nanny? A woman that helped raise you. We call her our second mother. I can only imagine what her father is thinking right now. And by the way, he lives within a mile of the White House. Did you ever reach out to him at all?
Of our small businesses. My plan is to...
What kind of a small business?
Give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax...
Ooh, her mouth is dry. You go, girl.
Cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to
What
get
are
through
you
the
talking
month.
about?
Economists have said that
Honey, be careful. This dude went to Wharton Business School. I can't wait to hear his comeback.
Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
What are you talking
President
about?
Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after...
Now watch. I think what we'll do here is watch her staring at him and her facial expressions while he's talking. We'll watch this first.
75 years pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars.
Wait a minute. Is that a vein? Oh my God, it is. Is that a vein or hair? You know what? She looks very, very Hindu to me. And, and everybody, no. If you keep going straight out on this main drag that I live off of, there's a huge Indian community. Matter of fact, I knew identical Indian twins, and they were always trying to freak me out, knocking on my door. They wanted me to hang out, and I was trying to talk them out of voting for Obama. One of them was on the fence, and the other was going straight into, she wanted the socialism, she wanted the commie shit, and that was back in 2008. And I'm like, I can't, obviously change your mind, so I stopped. But anyway.
And other places they've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has...
Oh, she looks like an old witch. She doesn't look like a confident woman who is... Did this end? No. She doesn't look like a confident woman who's going out and who's having a rational debate with another human being who's very smart and very successful. Just look at what the guy's done. This chick has basically lived off of dudes. I'm sick and tired of hearing about her mom. All the pictures I have of her mom are with full Indian dress with the red dot thing going. With Kamala with the red dot. All right, let's keep going.
Which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history.
Yes.
We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, 80.
Yeah, his makeup doesn't look real good. What's wrong with the one eye?
Percent higher than they were just a few years ago.
Oh,
this
wait.
has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class.
She's shaking her head and laughing at the fact that prices have gone up.
Everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places they've left the tariffs on. When I had it,
Oh,
I
that
had
is a
tariffs
bang.
and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has, which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation
Oh, yeah, that's
like
true.
very few people have ever seen before. Probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher.
They are.
Than they were just
They
a few
are.
years ago. This has
Kamala, they are. They are. I could tell you shit I bought on Amazon for $9 a couple of years ago where it's like 17, $18 right now. Normal stuff that I buy.
a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what...
She's going to blow it with her facial expressions. She's pulling an Al Gore 2000 is what she's pulling. And if you... I don't even want to get into that.
happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're
She's
going in.
laughing. He's talking about, like, for example, where a Haitian woman just ate her neighbor's cat. And she's laughing. This old hag. Look at this old hag.
Violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out. Yes.
Yeah, this is an old witch. An old witch. And now that she's not attractive enough yet to pick up the dudes, she's being used not by a man, but by the state.
I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country.
She's making an ass
I'll
out of
do it again,
herself.
and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression.
That is not true. That was during COVID. The states shut down businesses. The federal government didn't, for you people that aren't from here. Each state had their own policy. For example, South Dakota, Republican governor, Kristi Noem, wide open. Matter of fact, I called out there at a hotel I'd stayed in once when I was dabbling with moving out there in 2018. I said, "Are you guys open? Do you have any restrictions? What's going on out there?" Because I became friends with some of the staff. They told me what was going on. Here, Wisconsin, everything closed up. Everything. People from my apartment building that I was living in, which was on the high end, everyone bugged out.
Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. What we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess.
You know what? What she's saying right now had to have been rehearsed. Simply had to have been rehearsed.
What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people.
What are you talking about?
This debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook. A bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2020.
You know what? She's got this shit rehearsed. She had the questions in advance for sure.
That the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us.
Kumbaya, my lord. Yeah, that ain't gonna run the United States of America, chick.
And I pledged you to be a president for all Americans.
Oh,
President
fuck
Trump
you.
will give you manipulars.
Are you serious? She is not. For someone like me? Are you kidding?
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before.
Look at her.
We had
Wait
the
a minute.
greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic. And the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We had...
All right, her facial expressions are a total turnoff.
them over a country where the economy and where the stuff...
You know what? I sometimes cry and lament. I mean, for example, 2018, 2019 were two of the best years of my entire life. 2017, I had I had lost a family member that I was close to who happened to be found dead, and I was devastated that whole year. But 2018, 2019, it was like the heavens opened. It was just this feeling that you couldn't quite put your hand on, but everybody seemed to have it. It was like everyone was really happy. Shit was good. Shelves were stacked. Stores were open until midnight or 24 hours. The grocery store I went to, 24 hours, the most beautiful food and produce and everything I've ever seen. Now you're lucky if you can get in the door by 7:30 without them kicking you out because they want to go home. I have to spend twice as much. Twice as much on basic goods. Now watch what this bitch is doing. He's not bullshitting. This bitch, look at her.
Market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
She's shaking her head and making all kinds of weird gestures.
We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things.
God, my mom looked better than her when she was around 80. And these are like cheek injections. She looks stupid.
But not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the
Look at
one who
that
created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So, Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I'm offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What
Wait a
the
minute.
Wharton School has said,
What, Goldman Sachs? Yeah, he ran against Goldman Sachs in 2016, but let's go.
is Donald Trump's plan the economy?
I would have to say that most people, if Goldman Sachs said it's bad, it's probably good, right? Right, Kamala? What an idiot. This chick memorized these. She's been coached on this shit, and she's doing a crappy job, too.
The best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy.